Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my Nations League final predictions. This time around, the tournament has expanded. Usually on this quote-unquote final stage, you've got 4 teams battling it out in a semi-final fashion. But now, it's been expanded to 8, with top 2 in each group from Ligue A advancing to this showdown. The quarterfinals will begin very soon in March, which will be over 2 legs. But the semifinals and final will all happen over the summer. But that's not the only thing that's happening in March. There's also the Nations League playoffs, featuring 16 different countries going head-to-head against one another. In the second part of the video, I'll go over my predictions there as well, just maybe a bit more briefly. The World Cup qualifiers in UEFA will start as well for all the nations that you don't see here in this video, but I've posted a separate video for that on my channel already. But these quarterfinal matches in particular are important, as they do dictate which country is placed where for each World Cup qualifier group. For example, whoever wins over 2 legs between Croatia and France will play in Group D with Azerbaijan, Iceland, and Ukraine, while the loser goes to Group L with Czechia, Faroe Islands, Gibraltar, and Montenegro. But yeah, if you have not already, make sure you hit an early like on this video and subscribe if you're new. So let's get into it, starting off with the left side of the bracket first, Italy versus Germany. Italy, as we know, have been struggling in the last 2 World Cup qualifiers. During that time, they won a Euro Championship, but struggled in the next one. In the Nations League, in the meantime, they finished 2nd place in their group, only shortcoming themselves in 2 occurrences. With a huge change in squad over the years, they arguably look dangerous once again, especially in certain departments. Calafiori was a standout player at the last Euros and was one of the greatest talking points for the Italian national team. Di Marco is a top fullback. He did get selected for the squad despite the injury concerns. Bastoni with him on Inter has been an absolute wall. But Retegui has been getting an insane amount of goals this season and is proving to be one of the greatest strikers in Europe right now. Moise Kean as well seemed to completely revive himself, becoming a reliable striker for Fiorentina. It would truly be crazy if they fail to qualify for the World Cup once again. They have been showing good form in the Nations League group stage. They finished 2nd under France, but tied points with them at the end. The 2 times they dropped points included drawing with Belgium 2-2, many thanks to conceding a red card, along with losing to France on the final match day. That being said, the first time they faced, they beat them. Just goes to show Italia do have what it takes to go toe-to-toe with the best national teams in the world, and they are once again a force to be reckoned with. Will they be able to prevail against the Euro hosts, who many thought should have made the final had they not faced Spain so soon in the quarterfinals of the tournament? Yes, Germany looked like one of the best teams in that tournament without a doubt. Nagelsmann has really taken back Germany to dominance after so many confusing and troubled performances. Wirtz and Musiala working together once again will be lovely to see. Kai Havertz unfortunately will be out for the rest of the season though, and their other striker they relied on, Füllkrug, is out injured for sure for both of the quarterfinal legs. Also, this team, along with dealing with certain injuries, will now undergo a new generation of talent in certain departments. Kroos, Müller, Gundogan, and Neuer all just hung up the boots internationally. Ter Stegen finally got the chance to be the main choice for the national team until he got ruled out for the entire season. How unlucky is he? Germany, with all these new changes, however, are still looking very solid as they top their Nations League group undefeated. Some insanely one-sided victories as well, like crushing Hungary 5-0 and Bosnia 7-0. They scored the most amount of goals out of any of the Ligue A countries, a total of 18. Now, all these Nations League quarterfinal matches will be very tough to call, as Germany have been showing a lot of dominant displays over recent times. We still have not seen them play in quite some time. So Italy could definitely capitalize and show the world what they're made of. I still highly rate Spalletti. I think he won't go down so easy here. I actually do have Italy being able to hold off Germany to a 1-1 draw in the first leg. But in the second, Germany know what they're working with, and they get a 3-1 victory over the Azzurri to make it to the Nations League semi-finals. That would mean Germany are in Group A with Slovakia, Northern Ireland, and Luxembourg for the World Cup qualifiers as well. Moving on now to Denmark versus Portugal. A new era for Portugal, abandoning Nike after so many years and switching to Puma. This squad are looking so sharp right now with an experienced manager, Roberto Martinez. Now in the Euros, despite Portugal making it to the quarterfinals, I can't lie, they were quite disappointing. Literally no goals scored in the knockouts. Despite Ronaldo being gifted a penalty against Slovenia, he could not even convert there. But he redeemed himself in the Nations League group stages, being the top goal scorer in Ligue A specifically and getting many memorable moments throughout the campaign, like a bicycle kick against Poland. It's been quite the debate whether or not he should be the star striker for Portugal this late in his career, but him and Roberto Martinez have really seemed to build a strong relationship. While he's not shining though, the national team still have a lot of incredible reinforcements to rely on, and overall there's no denying that the national team are in an incredible state when it comes to the crop of talent they have. I'd argue it's even better than their team they had when they actually won the Euro Championship. There's a few players you can't say have been performing below their usual standards, like Bernardo Silva, but then you've got João Neves really stepping it up, now solidifying himself as one of PSG's best performing players. Not just him though, even Vitinha. But taking a look at Denmark, they definitely lack a more structural drive compared to Portugal's build. Them and Croatia accumulated the least amount of points amongst all the Nations League teams to be at this particular stage. Just 8 with 2 wins, 2 draws, and 2 losses. They're also working with a new manager, Brian Reimer, who failed to beat Serbia or Spain in his only 2 matches thus far. In the Euros prior, obviously under different management, they were also looking quite dull, failing to get any wins and only scored 2 goals. Hard to judge him while everyone at his club is a disaster, but Julian has gotten only 2 Premier League goals at the time of this recording. Julian and Ba are injured and have unknown return dates. A positive for them though is that Schmeichel definitely still has it in him. He really made Bayern struggle in their Champions League showdown against Celtic. There's still many exciting and underrated players on this team, but they're just not the same threat as they were just a few seasons ago. I do think Portugal are the favorites in this fixture. I'll say the first leg is pretty dull, finishing 0-0, but in the second, it's a 2-1 victory for Portugal. They advance to the semi-finals, placed in Group F of World Cup qualifying, while Denmark are in Group C. Moving on out to the Netherlands versus Spain. Netherlands are a fantastic team filled with quality without a doubt. However, I do think they were unlucky in this draw to get Spain so soon, as Spain are looking to be one of the hottest teams in the world right now. The Euro champions have not really seemed to slow down. They topped their Nations League group with the best record out of any of the teams, 5 wins and 1 draw, getting performances like defeating Switzerland 4-1 away while playing with 10 men for most of the match. And majority of their players are still thriving. I mean, Yamal, Olmo, and Pedri are all shining at Barca. Even Kurbasi is solidifying his stature more every day. The only one I think has vanished a tad bit is their captain Morata, not really solidifying his return to the Serie A, getting a quick exit from Milan to join Galatasaray, where he immediately suffered with injury blows. Also, obviously missing Rodri this season has been a huge loss, but Spain have enough talent to carry forward. The Netherlands are the second place representative in their group after finishing with too many draws just below Germany, but they still had a lot of highlights in this campaign, scoring the same amount of goals as Spain at the end. Germany also defeated them head-to-head, which is what set them back, but against the quote-unquote minnows of their group, they showed some dominant displays. This country also reached the semi-finals of the Euro tournament. Now, no discredit to them, of course, it's a phenomenal achievement, but I still can't help but feel that they were exposed in many moments of the tournament. And I think that mostly comes down to Koeman at the helm. My opinion has not really changed about him. He's not the best option for the country. Because with the quality this team has, they really should be striving for more excellence. Their defense is incredible on paper, but randomly leak too many goals. But their attacking football, without a doubt, has been present. The midfield individual performances have also been improving. For example, Gravenberch looked revolutionized ever since Slot took charge of Liverpool. Xerxes wasn't included in the squad for his poor United performances, but Memphis Depay will be there, even though he has not really been tearing it up in Brazil either. This is a classic match without a doubt. Huge storyline with this being the World Cup final in 2010. Anything can happen in this fixture, but I think it's safe to back Spain here. So many reasons to back their brilliance right now, and I really admire Luis de la Fuente's rise to the top. He is an incredible international manager. The confidence he's built in this team and what they've been able to achieve, they should at least reach the semifinals of the Nations League. Not to mention they also won the last Nations League trophy. So I will say that Spain are victorious here over both legs with 2-1 victories. They'll be in Group B, the Netherlands Group G. And the final quarterfinal matchup we're looking at is my beloved Croatia coming up against the country that severely broke our hearts in 2018, France. Now, France are not invincible to Croatia. The last time the two countries met was in the last Nations League group stage, where Croatia finally won 1-0. The match prior, they drew to them, but yeah, in the 2018 World Cup, where it matters most, Croatia lost 4-2. So who knows what will happen here? Many people are still writing off Croatia for that stereotype of an aging squad. Obviously, a few examples there to define this, but how can you argue that Luka Modric does not deserve to be in the squad when he's still scoring bangers for Real Madrid, and Ivan Perisic becoming the oldest player in Champions League history to score in back-to-back knockout UCL fixtures against Juventus? Yup, Dalic still believes in him and he's been selected for the squad. It will be interesting to see who Dalic selects as the striker to start though. Budimir, I cannot help but feel, still doesn't do enough for the national team. I know he's had some decisive moments like scoring against France last time, even against Armenia to secure a spot to Euro 2024, but when you watch him throughout the match, he blunders so many incredible opportunities, looking like he falls under the pressure. That's not the case in La Liga though. At the time of this recording, he is the third highest goal scorer in the league, only behind Lewandowski and Mbappe. Kramarić's club Hoffenheim is sinking, but he still is an asset for the team and getting some numbers. But now they've also selected Franjo Ivanovic, who has been tearing it up in Belgium. Another youngster in Belgium is Vušković, who has been phenomenal, scoring many goals even as a center back, but for some reason, Delic does not want to select him for the senior team. Maybe it's because he is still only 18, but I still feel that he should have had a spot over the likes of either Pongracic or Chaleta Tsar. Gvardiol has shown some blunders for City this season, but also pushed through for them when the team looked down and out. It's hard to assess what will happen with him here, and if Mbappe will break his ankles again, like he did in the Champions League. I'm slightly optimistic for Croatia's chances here, but there's no denying that France are the clear favorites on paper. Mbappe gaining form again, even Colomboane is starting to find his footing at Juventus. Thuram has been reliable for Inter. Barcola making more of a name for himself every day with PSG. If Dembele is selected, he's been one of the best players of 2025. Olise and Koeman on Bayern. There's just no denying how incredible of a squad France is, and the depth they have is outrageous. Even with the Griezmann hanging up the boots for the team, they will be just fine in the attack. Deschamps has somewhat lost his dominance in some ways, as France really has seemed to struggle at moments in the Euros. Despite making it to the semi-finals of the tournament, it took them quite a number of matches to get a goal from open play. But in the Nations League, like I've shown for Italy, they finished first place in that group, while Croatia, like Denmark, got the least amount of points out of any team in this stage of League A. So I don't know, I think it might be too tough for Croatia, I reckon. Don't get me wrong, they definitely still have a chance, and I want to stay optimistic, but coming closer to the fixture, it seems like there's no reason why France are not the favorites in this match. I think that they will advance to the semifinals. The first leg in Split will finish 1-0 for France, and in the second, I think it will finish 1-3. Hrvatska, molim te, prove me wrong. I would be ecstatic if I'm wrong on this prediction. But right now, my brain is overpowering my heart. Croatia should be the ones to take the L, to be placed in Group L of World Cup qualifying, while France will be put in Group D. Alright, so let's go over the rest of my bracket predictions quickly. Might do an updated video once we are closer to this stage, but here's what I've got for now. The first supposed semifinal matchup we have is Germany versus Portugal. Germany always seemed to get the best out of Portugal throughout most of our lifetimes. I do see them beating Portugal here once again to make it to the final. Spain versus France, repeat of the Euro semifinal. I do think Spain have what it takes to take down France once again. But for the actual final, the repeat of that insane quarterfinal matchup between Germany and Spain in the Euros, Germany could be absolutely fueled in this fixture, you know. I do think they have what it takes to knock out Spain, stopping them from winning back-to-back Nations League trophies. And for the third place match between France and Portugal, I am picking France. But I'm not done there. I also said I would quickly go over my playoff predictions as well. All these teams here either finish second or third in their group, and it will essentially determine whether they get promoted or demoted for each league. Starting out with Armenia versus Georgia, I really think Armenia have a fascinating squad, but they still have been so underwhelming lately, while Georgia have been surprising the entire continent. I'm banking on the country to make their debut in the Euros last summer to win this head-to-head over both legs as well. First one finishing 3-1, the second 3-0. Bulgaria versus Ireland next. Really could go either way, you know, but I think Ireland overall have a more solid foundation for a promising future. Bulgaria's glory days are unfortunately over. Maybe in a few years we can see them overcome this massive decline they've been facing in football. I think the match might finish 1-1 in the first leg, but Ireland will get the clean sheet in the second, 2-0. Kosovo versus Iceland. This one is very interesting. I always admired the side Kosovo had to their disposal, but they still under-deliver, while Iceland are known to be overachievers. Even though they're not achieving the same results as they were nearly a decade ago, they still get some big results from time to time. I'd like to see Kosovo win, and I think they might be able to 1-0 in the first leg, but Iceland will come back 3-1 in the second. Slovakia versus Slovenia. Unfortunately, many people mix these two flags up. Both really impressed in the Euros, but in different fashions as well. Both knocked out of the round of 16, but nearly pulling off upsets against Portugal and England. This seems like a match that would go to penalties. I think both times they face each other, it will finish in a draw. 0-0 in the first leg, 1-1 in the second. Slovenia win on penalties. Turkey versus Hungary is undeniably a banger and could go either way. Both countries right now are too unpredictable. You've got Turkey who reached the quarterfinals of the Euros, while many thought Hungary could be the dark horse as they were embarking on an undefeated run prior to the tournament, but they got grouped instead only beating Scotland. Both have exciting gems that can completely change the game, but Turkey proving their inconsistencies at their height after their final Nations League matches against Montenegro, bottling the first place spot, handing it to Wales. I'm too torn genuinely. It's all up to if Marco Rossi has got ideas. I think the first match will finish 2-1 for Turkey, but the second will go Hungary's way, where they win 2-0. I'm mainly backing Hungary here because they love the Nations League more than many other nations. They've been in League A for a while, so I see them being motivated to keep that spot. Another incredible match now, Austria versus Serbia. Austria doing incredible things with Ralf Rangnick, but still seem to not get the final touch. Topping the Euro group of death, but immediately getting knocked out in the round of 16. And in the Nations League, they bottled their chance to secure first in that group, while Serbia finally beat their kryptonite Switzerland in the Nations League, but still seem to run out of ideas with Pixie at the helm. When you've got Vlahovic and Mitrovic up top, anything's possible though. But Austria are playing more convincing football overall. They could slip here, and I hope they do, as I am rooting for Serbia, but I think Austria's got this over both legs. 2-1 in the first match for Austria, and then 2-2 in the second leg. Ukraine versus Belgium, a repeat of the Euro 2024 group stage action. There's a lot of uncertainty in this one as well, as Belgium have really failed to do much in their Nations League group, nearly finishing at the bottom actually. They made a panic move and changed their manager to Rudi Garcia, who did not really have the best rep at Napoli or Al Nassr. At least they might get Courtois back finally, but still, Garcia could cause the dressing room to have even more issues. I don't think it was a good move to appoint him, but only time will tell. Of course, they are still the favorites on paper, but we cannot act like Ukraine are not an incredible bunch themselves. These two sides drew in the Euros and finished 0-0, so I think it will be a really close affair. You know what? This will be my upset for the video. I didn't go for that many. I think Ukraine will win the first leg 1-0, and in the second, it's a 0-0 draw. And last but not least, there's Greece versus Scotland. Ivan Jovanovic, since taking charge for Greece, has definitely been an improvement. I have to say, overall, in recent times, the national team have been unlucky. Their Euro absence was a crazy heartbreak for the nation, but they are definitely looking to bounce back. Scotland had a poor Euro campaign, but prior showed some dominant displays. They have dipped a bit in form, and one of their best players, Robertson, has not looked as sharp as before for his club, Liverpool. It's a 50-50 matchup, but I think Greece can pull this one off, with Scotland winning the first leg 1-0, but Greece winning the second 2-0. Well, there you have it, guys. Those are all of my predictions for the Nations League, mostly focusing on the March international break. As always, though, let me know what you think will happen. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you're new around here. For those of you that are not new, you probably noticed that my editing has upscaled a tad bit. You definitely have, as in most of those videos, most of the comments are talking about it. Well, that's because I've just expanded my team and I'm now getting help from Styology. Special thanks to them for helping me edit this video. They without a doubt have been helping me elevate my projects to the highest level. Easy to communicate with, but yes, as you can see, the most important part, they deliver to perfection. I am extremely happy to have them help me in the future so I can deliver more content to you guys at a consistent basis. Anyway, I will see you all very, very soon. Take care. Boa noite.